Alright guys, we just finished this recommended post. Now let's work on how you can like a post. Okay, so liking a post is similar to following the user. We are going to make another sub collection. So when the user clicks this button, we are going to send his user ID inside our database, inside our sub collection. Okay, and we are going to check if his user ID exists inside the database. Then we are going to delete that, otherwise we want to add a new one. Okay, so now let's implement it. Okay, I'm going to close all the tabs here, and we need to open this like component. Okay, we already get this post in here. So as you can see, we have this button, and now we need to make a new function here, and I'm gonna call this handle like. Okay, it should be asynchronous function. Now let's have our try and catch block here. So at first we need to check whether the user is authenticated or not. So in here I'm going to get this current user, and it's coming from blog. So I'm going to say if the user is authenticated, then we are going to make our ref here. Let's have our doc. Okay, now let's import our DB, and we are going to make this sub collection inside our post collection. So to get a specific post, we are going to use the ID of that post. So again, I'm going to open this single post here. Okay, I'm going to send this post and also the post ID here. So in here I'm going to get this post ID, and now I'm going to write this. Now we need to add our sub collection name, and I'm gonna name this likes, and we need to have our current user .uid. Okay, now let's have our variable. So we need to check whether the post is liked or not. It's gonna be false by default. So in here I'm going to say if is liked, then we are going to delete that document. So delete doc, and I'm going to delete this like ref. Okay, otherwise we are going to add this. So I'm going to get this set doc, and this set doc will get our like reference as a first argument, and the second argument is going to be the data that we need to send to the database. In this case, I'm going to send the user ID, which is current user.uid. Okay, now let's make a toast notification here. Okay, now let's add this handle click inside our button. So if I click this, you can see we don't have any error. Now let's check it inside our database. Okay, as you can see, for this post we have a new sub collection, and if I open this, this is the user ID who liked the post, and this is his data. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to get this data from our database to check whether the user has liked the post or not. So up here again we are going to use that single fetch hook. So in here I'm going to get this data, use single fetch hook, and I'm going to pass a few arguments. Okay, so the first one is our collection name is gonna be post, and we need to send the post ID. Okay, and also our sub collection name, which is called likes. Alright, again we need to check whether the post is liked or not. So I'm going to define a new use effect hook. Okay, and inside here we need to set this is liked or set liked, and inside here again I'm going to find the index of this data. So if we have data dot find index, each and every item, and item dot id is equal to this current user dot uid, and it's not equal to -1. Okay, so let's have our dependency, and it should be our data. Okay, so now down here we need to set a condition. So as you can see, if I click this button, if the user has not liked the post, it will be dark and this number will be decreased. Okay, and if he liked the post, the number will be incremented, and also this color will be much more brighter. Okay, so I'm going to change this to be inside the template string, and so if we have is like, okay, and also this should be is liked, and let's change it here also. Okay, if we have this is liked, we want the color to be black. Okay, and otherwise it should be text gray and 500. Okay, and instead of this number, I'm going to print the length of my data. So in here I'm going to write data dot length. Okay, now you can see we have only one user who liked the post, so the length is 1. Now let's change this color, and I think I need to move this inside. Okay, now you can see our color has been changed. If I click it again, you can see it will be 0, and if I click it back, it will be 1. Okay, but what if we have about 1000 likes? So in here, if I delete this data length, and instead if I have 1000 here, you can see the whole zeros will be printed here, and this is not a good practice. So in here, if we have 1000 likes, we should print 1 and k, so it will be 1k here. Okay, instead of those all zeros. If we have, let's say, 1 million likes, it should be 1m with the capital letter. Okay, so for that we need to have another function inside our helper function. I'm going to open this helper function here, and down here I'm going to export a new function. This time it should be format number. Okay, now inside here I'm going to receive this number, and I just copy and paste this condition. Okay, I got this condition from Google, so just copy and paste this and you will be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to open this like component, and let's test it here. Import this format number here, and let's have 1000 like. Now you can see it will be printed 1.0k. But if we have, let's say, 1 million like, now you can see it will be printed 1 million. What if we have 1 billion? You can see it will be printed 1 billion. So it will reduce those all zeros inside here, and it is a good practice. Okay, so now let's wrap our data.length with this function. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here, and let's get rid of this one. Alright, okay guys, we are done with this part, and now let's push this code. I'm going to say like is implemented. Okay,